Welcome back, everybody. Good morning. My name is Dr. Nicholas Alipui. I'm Program Director, the Director of Programs for UNICEF. I'll be your moderator and MC this morning. First of all, let me welcome each and every one of you warmly to this Web for Dev conference. A special welcome particularly to those who have come from outside New York, from overseas. You're most welcome, and our viewers across the world on webcam. As you know, we have also an exciting group of young people, university students in the room with us today, those that have been contributing to the work that we've been doing here at UNICEF, particularly from the NYU, New York University, in a course called Design for UNICEF, and at Columbia University in a course on putting development policy in practice, of thinking of new ways to use to achieve our mandate. Let's do something fun as we start. I will soon bring on the first speaker. We'll have two speakers to start off with. But I wanted each one of us to just give a high five to the person next to you so that we start off on a fun note. A high five to each other, right? All right. Thank you very much. Our first keynote speaker is Dr. Bhartendra Singh Baswan. He is the director of the Indian Institute of Public Administration. After his retirement from civil service, he has been appointed as director of the Indian Institute of Public Administration in New Delhi. Dr. Baswan is a leading Government of India Institute academician and has been involved in academic activities that would enhance the leadership qualities and management capabilities of the executives in government and other public service organizations. It's my pleasure to bring on Dr. Baswan. Dr. Baswan.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'd just like to say that I'm not a doctor. I've been able to successfully pass myself off as one. But the answer is no. In fact, I'm not a technocrat either. I'm just a harmless civil servant. And I think the speakers in the first session put matters in perspective. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, and theirs is a hard act to follow. But that's made my job so much easier, because a lot of the core issues have been flagged already, and my job is to just develop them a little further. Having said that, I have a PowerPoint presentation over here. I'm not comfortable with it, because most people who make PowerPoint presentations question the visual ability of the audience. I wouldn't do that. I just let the slides speak for themselves, and I think we can start now. I hope I'm audible without the mic. Is this working, or is the collar mic? I'm told it needs to be activated. So whoever's going to activate it, could you do it? Yeah. Sorry. Yes, we'll start with this now. Here, of course, we have a country with a huge population. The figures are ballpark figures. We have the largest number of poor people in the world. Ours is a poor country. And for those who believe that India and China are going to bail the rest of the world out, I would say think again. This gives you an idea. Can you see this slide, by the way? Is it okay? Then I'll let it speak for itself. The main thing here is governments get thrown out with predictable regularity. Voters are sick and tired of governments. They throw them out, and they get the old lot back again, hoping they'll be a little better the next time around. You can see that the penetration has increased. It's fairly large. So it's on. OK, thanks very much. Yeah. Now, about reform, I'll very briefly flag a couple of issues over here. Structural reform means changing the way the structure is, because we need to remember that in our system of governance, graft is the rule rather than the exception, and that it stems from the highest political levels, where generally the one-point program is to stay on in power at any cost. It's a very raw kind of democracy. It's evolving. When I look at developed countries, we find that this stage of their democracy, they had pretty similar systems. You only have to think of the first British Prime Minister, or you think of certain governors in the US towards the end of the 18th century who auctioned all their posts almost publicly. So you have here structural reform. And here I'd just like to flag one issue. Privatization with competition, yes. And we find that socialism in our country has been the mirror twin of crony capitalism, and that has delayed reform. Localization, yes, but then no one likes to part with power, and therefore the state governments will literally delegate powers over their dead bodies to the local governments, and they've successfully prevented this from taking place. Right to information is a major innovation on our part, and citizen charters, yes. E-governance is what the subject is today. I'll just talk about mobile technology over here. And I've said here that it's being used by everyone, but corruption in our country, you have different kinds of corruption, obviously. But the telecom sector reformed thanks to a minister whose own reputation for probity was seriously under question. But what he did was, he followed a fairly competitive method of bidding, and he made sure that his successors could not extract the same rent and not as effectively as he did. And even now, the system is riddled with corruption. But in spite of that, what's happening is that empowerment has gone ahead. The mobile phone is probably far more effective than the internet. Our internet penetration is not great. And a lot of people are using it, a lot for the wrong reasons. We can't help that. The most technologically advanced people in the country, they say, are the terrorists. They're usually one step ahead of the law enforcement machinery.